Hello and welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Pollyanna. Chapter 3, Pollyanna Arrives. Miss Polly checked out the little attic room with its small, neatly made bed, two straight back chairs, a chest of drawers, a washstand, and a table. The summer heat was unbearable, but worse for Miss Polly was a fly in the room. Frowning, she killed the insect. "Nancy, I found a fly in Miss Pollyanna's room," she announced angrily when she went downstairs. "I ordered some screens, but I expect you to make sure that the windows remain closed until they are delivered. Oh, and by the way, my niece will arrive tomorrow, June 25th. I want you to meet her at the train station. The telegram I received says she has light hair and will wear a red check gingham dress and straw hat. That should be enough for you to recognize her." "But," Nancy started to say, I know what you're thinking, Nancy. I shall not go to meet Pollyanna. I have made up my mind. That is all." Timothy, old Tom's son, drove Nancy to the train station with the horse and carriage. "Let's just hope the kid doesn't slam doors or drop silverware," Timothy laughed. "That would drive Miss Polly crazy." Nancy spotted the little girl immediately. She was standing alone on the platform, looking all around. Nancy approached her nervously. What happened to the couple that was supposed to be traveling with her? "Are you Miss Pollyanna?" she asked softly. The child didn't answer, but reached out and hugged Nancy so tightly that she could barely catch her breath. "Oh, I'm so glad to see you. Of course I'm Pollyanna, and I'm so glad you came to meet me. I knew you would." She let go of Nancy immediately and jumped up and down, all while eyeing her from head to toe. "I just couldn't wait to see what you look like, and I'm glad you look like you do." Timothy approached and asked Pollyanna for her luggage. "Oh, I have a brand new trunk," bubbled the child. "The ladies' aid from the church bought it for me. Don't you think it was nice of them? Especially because they wanted the carpet so much. I'll bet they could have bought a whole aisle of red carpet for the cost of that trunk." Pollyanna talked continuously during the ride home. "What a lovely place," she said when they arrived at the Harrington house. "I knew it would be pretty. Father told me." Nancy noticed that her chin was shaking and there were tears in her eyes, but Pollyanna recovered quickly and lifted her head bravely. "Father remembered everything. Oh, and I should explain about this red gingham dress why I'm not wearing black since Father died. The problem is there weren't any things in the last lady's aid barrel. Only a velvet black thing that the deacon's wife that said wasn't any good for a little girl, and besides it was worn out and had spots on it. The ladies' aid wanted me to buy a black dress and hat, but some people said the money should go for the church's red carpet instead. Anyhow, I guess it's true that children don't look good in black." "I'm sure it's all right," Nancy broke in. "Well, I'm glad you feel that way. Anyway, it would be much harder to feel glad in black." "Glad?" asked Nancy sharply. "Well, yes, Father's gone to heaven to be with Mother and the rest of the family. He said I must be glad, but it's been hard because they've all had each other, but I was all alone. That's why I'm so glad to have you, Aunt Polly." Nancy was horrified. "Oh, you've made a mistake, honey. I'm not your Aunt Polly. I'm just Nancy, and we're not anything alike. Not at all." "But who are you?" asked Pollyanna fearfully. "You don't look at all like a ladies' aid person either. And there isn't Aunt Polly?" "I'm no ladies' aider. I'm just the hired girl." "So she is alive. I'm glad. I'm really glad. In fact, I'm glad she didn't come to meet me because now I have You and her too. Pollyanna stared at the house. Is my Aunt Polly very rich, Nancy? Yes, miss. Oh, I'm so glad. It must be lovely to have lots of money. The only rich people I knew were the Whites. They have carpets in every room and ice cream sundaes. Does Aunt Polly have ice cream sundaes? No, miss, said Nancy. I reckon she don't like ice cream because I've never found it in the kitchen. Really? But does Aunt Polly have carpets? Oh, yes, lots of carpets. In every room? Well, almost every room, replied Nancy, thinking about Pollyanna's bare little attic room. Oh, I'm so glad, said the little girl. I love carpets. All we had were 2 rugs that came from the church barrel, and they had ink stains on them. Oh, but Mrs. White also had pictures in her house. Pictures of roses and little girls and a kitten and some lambs and a lion. The lion and lambs weren't together, you know, but the Bible says that someday they will be, but they aren't yet. That is, Mrs. White's aren't, but I do love pictures. As Timothy unloaded Pollyanna's trunk and carried it into the house, Nancy thought to herself, I won't think about leaving here after all. That poor little child will need somebody to protect her from Miss Polly, and it'll be me. And that was the end of that chapter, and I will see you later.